Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. We are on video number 4 of the Easter Treats online classroom, and we are doing this adorable little bunny box. Inside, you're going to find a little lollipop. I've got the little lollipop in your kit for you, and the fun part, I want to teach you a little bit about box making while we do this particular project. All right, so I'm also going to tell you that your lollipop bunny is included, and I'm going to wrap him up in bubble wrap to really try to secure him. Most of mine arrived okay without a crack, but this one, just in being displayed for the class, has broken at the ear. So please forgive me if yours arrives cracked. I am wrapping them in bubble wrap, and they start out whole, but I will give you a link to Amazon where I purchased these cute little bunny pops in case you want to get some more. And just know that much care was taken, but much care has been taken with him at home, and just in being displayed in the box for marketing purposes, he's already cracked. So please, like I said, forgive me if your lollipop doesn't make it. Let me show you the kit here. If you got the kit, your scoring and die cutting is all done for you, just in case you don't have this little rectangle. So you're going to have pieces that look like this. But for the purpose of the video, I've got 2 pieces of petal pink cardstock here. One of the petal pink cardstock is 4 by 7 3/4, and the other one is 4 1/8 by 7 7/8. So it's 1/8 of an inch bigger, and that's really important in this type of box making, so that your lid will fit over your bottom. You have to have this extra 1/8 of an inch for your lid piece over your bottom piece. All right, so those are my 2 petal pink cardstocks, and if you didn't get the kit, that's what you need to start with. One for your bottom, 4 by 7 3/4, one for your top, 4 1/8 by 7 7/8. All right, then our little lollipop, you're gonna have an Amazon link for those dudes. I've got window sheet here, and it's put with a piece of tissue in the kit to keep your window from getting all scratchy, but that's our clear window sheet there. And this little window sheet piece is 2 by 3 1/4. Now in the kit, I've done all the die cutting and punching for you. Don't lose your little flower center, but if you didn't get the kit, you'll need to cut a little purple posy flower center. That is just done with a Fiskars 1/4 inch circle punch. And I've got a Daffodil Delight bloom punched with a small bloom punch. I've got a Whisper white stitched circle. And we cut this one ahead for you using the stitched shapes. This is the second largest, that's 2 3/8. And then we've got a mint macaron scallop circle. Now this scallop circle is that C size, 2 9/16. And the last little bit here, I got a tag. We cut this one ahead of time for you. This is petal pink again, and you'll cut that one with the ornate frames. It's that long, skinny little tag die. You love this tag. I use it a ton. All right, let's put aside all of our bits and pieces and grab the Simply Scored, and we'll get our box to the place of being ready to assemble. All right, the nice part about preparing our box pieces ahead of time, so they are 1/8 of an inch longer in each direction, is that when you've got that 1/8 of an inch longer in one direction, you can go ahead and put your box lid, this is the longer one, in, and score at 1 inch all the way around. Now it's awesome when you score it 1 inch all the way around the top side of your box, the left side of your box, the bottom side of your box, and the right side of your box will all be 1 inch. That's why score all the way around. You could very easily say, all right, I'm going to score at 1 and I'm going to score at 3, and that'll give me 1-inch sides. But if this is off a hair, then your box is off a hair. Where if you go with the 1 inch all the way around, then you'll always have 1-inch sides. And with that 1/8 of an inch difference in the size of our starting paper, we've built in the room that we need on the top, for the top to be just a little bit bigger so that it'll slide over the bottom of our box. So just a fun little box making tip. Any box that you want, you can do with the bottom lid kind of method, a 2-piece box, by just figuring out what size you want your box to be: deep, wide, tall, and then scoring out those measurements, make a piece that's 1/8 of an inch bigger, and then score the depth all around. If you've got questions about box making, you're always welcome to give me an email, marissa@kitchentablestamper.com, and I'm happy to help out work box dimensions for you, or even make box dimensions for a specific product or treat. So give me a shout if you need anything. Now we need to be very careful here. We want our bigger piece. So this is the lid to our box. Let's set aside the bottom. We don't want any mistakes here. So that bottom is out of sight, out of mind. Let's work on the lid. And I'm just going to work the creases, these score lines, with our bone folder. But we're not going to do any cutting quite yet. We're not going to liberate the tabs. We just are working on more definition of these score lines, because before we put the box together, we want to cut a little window so everybody can see how cute our little lollipop is. So here is the nested stitched labels. Here's the stitched rectangles die, and this one is this I. So what I do is A to the smallest little size, A to M in this case. A is up my biggest, and then further down the alphabet you go, the smaller the nested shape, let's say. All right, so we've got I, which is somewhere in the middle toward the end. It's 2 3/4 by 1 7/8. That's the die we're looking for. We're gonna go ahead with this die and we're gonna place it in the outside of our box so that we have an equal right and left and top margin. And I'll take a little piece of low-tack tape or washi tape, and I'll tack down the little die. Now, a little trick here when I'm doing something like this, I like to put the tape, so the tape is on the discard piece. So if this piece cuts out perfectly fine, I'll get the big shot, we can keep that piece for another project, but it doesn't affect this project. So I like to put the tape on the discard piece in case the tape ruins the cardstock when we take off the die. So I got my big shot. Let me set it up for die cutting. We've been doing all embossing in this class so far. All right, so we're gonna pop our little box lid into our big shot, close up our sandwich here, and let's cut that window out of the top of our box, right out of our box lid. Now the fun part about these stitched rectangles dies, if you haven't noticed or you haven't seen them yet, if you don't own them, the stitching is on both the negative and the positive part of the cut. So see, so if we had any trouble here getting this tape up, which it doesn't look like we're going to, it would have happened to this discard piece. But since that's such a pretty little piece, put that aside and save it for the next project. And let's get our box assembled here. Get my little sample box back in here, and let's cut our designer series paper. I'm going to use this really pretty kind of multicolor floral from my designer series paper pack. You know what? I've got this one right here. I'm going to use this. We're going to shake it up and use a little bit different one. We need a 2 by 2 inch piece. That's for the front of our box. pull that aside. You can choose whichever one you like. And is this getting predictable? I've got my old olive with white polka dots. Let's cut ourselves some leaves. Now that we've cut the window in the correct piece, let's finish burnishing. And we'll trim out the tabs for our box. All right, we've worked all the scores. Now we need paper snips. All right, we're gonna cut all of these tabs out the same way. Very slight little angle cut, and cut out the scored piece, kind of debulk your box. We're gonna cut each one on both the bottom and the lid the same way. All right, there's our tabs all trimmed out. Now we're gonna do our adhesive. So you want the outside of the box up right now. Let's get some tear and tape, and we're gonna do little equal signs. Now, you want to do an equal sign here, because what will happen when you do this equal sign is when you bring up the corner of the box, you'll have adhesive all the way to the edge here, and this will be as secure as possible with no gaps. On the inside, this part of the flap will be supported and secured to the inside edge of the box, meaning less damage as you take the lid off or fill the contents. You want a nice secure box. So equal signs are the way to go. So we're gonna do that on all 8 tabs. All right, there's all of our little equal signs. Before we close up our box, let's add our designer series paper. A little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue, spread it out, goes a long way. And just pop that down inside the little score lines at the bottom of the box. Okay, so there's the outside of our box. Got a little step to do inside the box. Hold on, I'll show you. All right, turn over the inside. Turn over to the inside of the top of our box. And then we're gonna take tear and tape, and we're gonna run some tear and tape right along the edge of our rectangle here. We're gonna add the window sheet to the inside of the box before we assemble the box. All right. Burnish that down. Take your pick tool and remove all these little edges here. All right, here's our little window sheet. We want to do the best we can to cover all of the adhesive. Now it's going to be a close fit. If there's anything sticky here, now's a really good time to run your embossing buddy over and take care of that stick so that it doesn't stick to your paper shred or whatever you decide to fill the treat with. If it's tear and tape and it's a little bit long, you can also just roll it up with your fingers like that and then peel away the excess. See? So the extra tear and tape just comes right away. Okay, remove all of the liner from the adhesive on your tabs. I like to use my take your pick tool for that. Saves the nails. They're already so dry this time of year. All right, then fold in and then bring up the side. You're going to make a nice square corner, burnish those adhesive down. If you've got anything that flows past the edge of the tab, roll it down and fold it first. And there's the bottom of our box. And we'll do the top the same way. All right, so got a little bit of paper shred here in the bottom of the box. You don't need a lot. We just want to cushion that lollipop and kind of lift him up so that we can see him in the window. Pop him right in there. Now you might get yellow, you might get orange, pink, or blue. There's 4 colors in the assortment for your Lollipop in your kit. Look at that. See how perfect that slides on? It's still nice and snug, but not too snug. And that's that extra 1/8 of an inch. Well, we don't need quite as much shred as I put in. His face was lifting the top of the box. There we go. Now we're good. Just a little bit'll do ya. All right, so cute. Look at how different they are. I think I like that I went with a little bit bolder pattern because this little guy seems to be a little bit bolder color. All right, let's color our bunny. We'll stamp him up and give him a color. Got Memento Tuxedo Black, that great stitched circle. Ink this dude up. Now we want to leave a little bit of room for our bumblebee. Notice I got that little bumblebee. He's too cute not to include. So let's stamp our bunny and our bumblebee. Kind of watch his little left ear. Kind of put it so that it doesn't quite touch the stitches. Hello, cutie. And then the little bumblebee. So cute. And do our bumblebee the same way we did the last one. Dab the wings with Pool Party. Don't fill them in completely, it's okay. Color the bumblebee with Light Daffodil Delight. Now for my bunny, I want some, I've got Color Lifter, Light Smoky Slate, Light Petal Pink, and I'm going to use the brush end of my marker this time. I hardly ever do because I've got such a heavy hand usually, and so I have better control when I use my bullet. But here we want to move really quick and work in sections because I don't want him as dark as the light smoky slate. So I went over with a coat of the light smoky slate. Now I'm washing out that color by pushing it back using the color lifter. Now, if you're doing this right, you're soaking through your cardstock, so you might want to protect your surface. I've got the directions here from the project sheet. And just keep washing him out. And once we've washed him out, we can fill in the next area. So even with his little ears, I went over the ears with the color lifter first. And then I'm going to go over and push that gray back. And that'll give us a lighter gray bunny. Now while his face is still wet, I'm going to take the light petal pink, do some cute little petal pink cheeks. And again, you're using the petal pink now to push back that smoky slate. Then we'll go over again with the color lifter and push back the gray some more. Now his little body, same thing. We're gonna go kind of on an outline here first. Leaving the bottom of his feet alone. And on his toes, legs, under legs. I haven't quite completely filled in. I'm going with a real light color, kind of moving these edges together. I didn't fill my entire bunny here on his bottom half. And now we're going to push that back. Use a color lifter and lighten that gray. We want a real light gray bunny. We can keep working until we get the colors that we want. That's the nice thing about the alcohol markers, is that we can work these and add shadows, put the shadows back in, work highlights by using the color lifter to push it back. And you can keep going back to it. It is very workable. So if you see something that still looks a little too harsh, something that you want to push back, do again. Let it dry a bit, then go back to it. I'm going to move on to the inside of the ears here. Color that in solid with a light petal pink. Really fill those in. His little nose. And I think I want to go one more round over the body and really push that gray back, soften it up. I'm pretty happy with them. And this is exactly how we're going to color our bunny for the last project too. So if you wanted to color 2 bunnies at once, go for it. I've got my basic gray Stampin' Pad and a little hey friend greeting. My little hey friend greeting is once again, like all my greetings, from the Itty Bitty Greeting stamp set. I love the variety, I've been saying all along. So now we've got the little hey friend. You could add Easter blessings on there, or you could add for you on there and make it whatever you want this treat for. It's a great little spring treat. We're stamping our hey friend just a little bit right of center with our basic gray. Need a piece of that linen, the sheer linen ribbon now. Gonna thread in and add a bow to the top of our tag. It's kind of medium size. You don't want it too small because you're gonna put it right budged up with the flower, and you want it to hold its own. You want it to show next to that great looking little flower. Trim the tails. All right, time to decorate. Let's finish this little box up. Okay, I got some multi-purpose liquid glue here. I'm gonna put some kind of down center and bottom half of my mint macaron circle and pop that on. Now we don't want to cover up Bunny's face. We don't want to cover the whole entire window, but it is going to cover some of the window, and that's why we put their glue down kind of low, because we don't really want to see a smushy bunch of liquid glue on the inside when we take the lid off. It's a detail, but it's important. And we also don't want to go all the way to the edges of the scallops because it's going to hang off the box a little bit. So did you see, glue placement is important there. You could always put a couple of little strips of tearing tape right on your box and then stick the circle to it, and that'll be another good way to keep your adhesive hidden and precisely placed. Okay, we've got our little bunny dude, and he needs some dimensionals. Let's pop him up on the mint macaron circle right in the center. Make sure that he's level. We don't want him tipped uphill or down. Now our little hey friend tag. Let's grab a little edge piece here. I'm going to put that off the edge of our circle. You can also add just a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue where it's going to hang over the circle that's already popped with dimensionals. Tag goes just barely off the edge a little bit. See that? Let that glue grab. Now we're going to put some adhesive on the back of our leaves here. And tuck it right underneath our tab, or right underneath our tag. And it's going to cover Bunny's foot just a little bit. And if you want to, you can add a little piece of dimensional, and you can tuck it right here where this leaf sits before the edge of the box. So that'll give you a little extra security. Now slide these guys to the side just a bit because we're going to give our flower some shape. So we need that Stampin' Pierce mat, a little flower. Take your pick tool. We've done this a few times. You probably got this down by now. Little multi-purpose liquid glue in the center. Grab the center and drop it in the glue. And then we can, if you want to here, grab another little piece of dimensional. Pop that right over the leaf. Expose the adhesive and drop the flower right on. There it is. You've done it. Hey friend, your little lollipop box. I love two-part boxes, but they can be a little tricky because of the difference in size between the lid and the bottom of the box. I really hope that you learned something about box making while we made this project. If you've got any questions, just email me, marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. Thanks for being a part of the online classroom. I'll see you in the last video where we'll make this great Easter basket treat. Perfect little basket here for filling with little plastic Easter eggs or the little treats that you just made in the class. All right, if you've got questions about anything, reach out. Thanks for being a part of the online classroom.